whole definition of homosexuality. How do I know that? As a sociologist, one of the things that you are taught when you study history is you look for patterns. Simply put, if I see something that you do from the beginning of your time, if I see evidence of it in the drawings in your caves, if I see evidence of it in your classic society is when you were at your best of who you are. So when you talk about Greek society or Roman society, they use the word classic society, just like when we talk about Kemetic society, we use the word classic because that's when we were at the best of who we are. The best characteristics of us was exemplified then. And if I look at you over time and I see this particular behavior or thought pattern, whatever it is, over this, then I know that's you. I don't care what you tell me right now. I look at your history in order to assess who you are. So when I look at European history, I see homosexuality, pedophilia, bestiality from the beginning of their time to now. So therefore, to be homosexual, to be European is to be homosexual. To be European is to be pedophilic. To be European is to be bestial. That's nothing complicated about that. I'm not making an accusation. Go read the history. Go study it and you'll see the pattern throughout. You don't see that in traditional African society. And I'm not getting into a lot of arguments about why this is not African, and we understand why they're trying to make it African, because if you can make the oldest people on the planet homosexual, then homosexual becomes normal and natural for humans. But there's no evidence of it. If there was evidence, we got to think logically. We operate in a logical plane when it comes to things that we fear speaking out against. We don't, logic just flies out the window because of fear. Not ignorance, but because of fear, because we know that they will kill for nothing. Right. We know that. I don't care how much of a Negro you are, you know that. You know that. If Africans were homosexual, when Europeans came to the continent and talked about how bad we were, how we did all things backwards, how we did nothing but climb trees, didn't know God, didn't know anything. You think for half a second, if they found homosexuality in Africa, it would have been in all of their scientific journals, newspapers, and everything else, and there's nothing about any homosexuality, bestiality, pedophilia in any European journal, book, magazine at the time that they were invading the continent. None. We have to use logic. We're not using logic because we're operating out of fear. When it comes to our children, there should be nothing but logic. Because we know that we're at war and we know that there are people who are trying to destroy us. The process of genocide. To genetically remove a people from existence in the universe. Suicide, pesticide, to kill. Genetics, to kill the genetics, to kill the gene. That's what genetics is all about. Homosexualization is a process. I'm not worried about the adults. I'm going to talk about the adults. The children are being targeted. You change the people, you change them. You change the children, you change the people. Pedophiles, adults who prefer to have sex with children. The dominant form of pedophilia in European culture, in classic European culture and society, is sex between a man and a boy. There were other forms of homosexuality. Well, there was only one other form, but the other form was also a place, but this was the dominant form, and that had to do with the kind of society it was, a patriarchal society, so men ruled. And that's a whole other discussion in terms of why feminism came into existence, why lesbianism came into existence. And even to play with the word lesbianism, which is a misnomer, it's the wrong name. Lesbianism was named after the island of Lesbos, which they changed on the map. They changed the name of this island on the map because it was getting too much attention. They changed the name on the map. Wow. You don't find Island of Lesbos on modern maps. Just like you don't find Transylvania in the same way because of Dracula. But the island of Lesbos was not an island of homosexuality for women. It was an island where female prostitutes entertained men. So to call yourself a lesbian is a misnomer. Because that's not what they did. It was an island of prostitution. know their story. Sean Burton and John Clark. You need to know them first, and then you know what happened to us. You'll understand it. If you don't know them, then you're confused. Points that folks need to think about. Trajectory. I was talking about what you see has happened, where it's going. Everybody here is a social scientist. Everybody here is a social scientist. You don't have to have a white lab coat on and some white laboratories or white rats to be a social scientist. If you can read, understand, see patterns, then you can tell where they're coming. You can project. You can guesstimate, estimate where they're going. And when I look at Europeans from the beginning of their time, this was predictable for me. I was talking about this over 10 years ago. Because it's only logical, being the invasive people that they are, that they're going to change whoever they're around into them because that makes them normal. That's logical, because that's the way they've always behaved. Everywhere they go, they're going to do a bunch of raping to produce a group of people who sit between the population they've exploited and them to control their people. That's a pattern you find wherever they're at. There are patterns that fit them. You got to talk about trajectories, where this is going. Because if you can't see what's coming, then you're essentially spinning your wheels. You're wasting your time. And you're going to become more and more frustrated. If I know that the public school system is going to, and it is going to teach my children that homosexuality should be a priority in their sexual relationships, it's going. Then why would I sit there and want to fight that in the public school system? That would be illogical. That's a waste of energy. I can take that energy and time and apply it to my child. That's a form of distraction that keeps revolutionaries, warriors, serious warriors from doing their best work, being distracted in meaningless, distractive conversations with people whose only job is to convince you that you're wrong. That's their only job. They'll sit and listen to you for hours, play with you for hours. But their job in the final analysis is to change your mind. Not to change theirs, but to change their mind. Most people don't come to lectures, things like that, to become intellectually enlightened, or to have their opinions changed. They come to have what they already believe verified. Period. Trajectory. Are homosexuals pedophiles? When patterns. One of the things that we are constantly seeing now, and that's why I titled my book Homosexuality and the Feminization of African Males, because if you put those two together, then if you can find one person who's effeminate but not homosexual, it defeats the whole argument. What they're doing now, and they continue to do, is to try to make a distinction. First we made a distinction between homosexuals and feminists. Now we're trying to make the distinction between homosexuals and pedophiles. Well, this is European culture. They are taking us back through their caves. It's interesting. To me, that was always an interesting way of viewing it. They're taking us back through their caves, turning us into them. We're having to go back through this horrendous, horrible process. So that we get finished, we're so broken, we don't know anything but that cave. We're having to go back through that process. But in the meantime, because we are so gullible, we've come to accept homosexuality is okay, it's cool. But we will not believe because they're telling us not true that homosexuals are pedophiles and that's where it's going. That that's going to become the dominant form. We're not ready for that yet. And they know we're not ready for that. They've given us what we could swallow in bits and pieces. And along with that, we wouldn't have swallowed it if we did not want to be validated by them. If we didn't want to be loved by them, then none of this could have happened. None of this could have happened. They could have beat us till we were black and blue, I guess. Black and blue. We would still be African in our hearts, in our spirits, in our souls. But they've given us bits and pieces of it. The more we love them, they would accept this. They would admit that they were doing that. They would accept it. They would admit that they were doing that. As they felt that we were ready to swallow a hook, line, and sinker. So pretty soon, pedophilia is going to take the place of homosexuality.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's logical. That's the process. It's not some fantastic scientific theory. It's logical because of history. They are turning us into them in their classic way. And we're going to take it to a whole nother level. We are. When I say this, I'm not some seer. I remember Irritated Teenage, we had a conversation a number of years ago, and he was fighting, he should have been fighting against same-sex marriage. That's Irritated. They're going to do what they do. It's going to become a fact.
That's right.
Because they are them. And in this society, they're going to make that happen. Globally, they're going to make that happen. They're going to make that happen. There's no ifs, no ands, no buts. We are involved in a conversation that is doing nothing but making it appear that we were part of the final decision. The decision was already made in the caves. But we're being brought in, so it makes it appear that we're really responsible for this. Or we assisted, or we came to this conclusion together. The decision was already made. The homosexualization of the planet was already made when they came off of the Caucasus Mountains. That was already made. One of the things Mama Rama always talks about is that they cannot tolerate difference. They're going to turn you into them if you are in their presence. They cannot tolerate difference because difference from them means that something is wrong with them in their mind. I remember Edie was writing her proposal for a dissertation. And she was writing about Toni Morrison. That's why I'm not sure if she is, but I've seen the picture, so I know who she associates with.
Yes, sir.
So she was writing her dissertation was going to be entitled Africanisms in Toni Morrison's Novels. And I said, do that. Well, she's told me don't do that stuff. Something else, so it's not like I'm I said, don't do that because they're going to see, when you say Africanism, for them it's automatically going to mean against them. And she sat and she turned it in. Beautiful job. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for like a year and a half. I said, change the title. And she changed the title to something like African folklore, folklore in the Toni Morrison novel. So it immediately was accepted. And she wrote the same thing. It didn't change. Because they operate as a people. I don't care if they're smiling at you. One of the discussions we were having the other day, the first thing the Europeans assess, and this isn't going to turn into a discussion of the Europeans, even though it really is, they are homosexual.